Hello everyone, I am Squallcasting, and I've got some more StarCraft 2 for you. Now, at this moment, I had been hoping to play Diablo 3, but there are some server issues, so that's not happening right now. So this game was sent to me by Incubus here. He says he is in the Bronze League, and that his opponent is someone in the Gold League. Now, he's not blue, and his opponent's red, so that means this is a custom game. It looks like it was one of the MLG Pro Circuit maps, so I would guess that these are two friends playing against each other, or it could just be they just didn't want to play on the ladder, so they jumped into a custom match and just happened to play against each other. But in any case, we'll have to see what happens here. So Incubus is indeed throwing down his first supply depot at basically the same time that SuperBarnie, I forgot to introduce him. This is SuperBarnie, the ultimate of all Barnies. So he put down his pylon there. They're both scouting in the wrong direction, so it'll be a little bit of time before either of them find out where each other are. Very typical. And Incubus is going to throw down his barracks, so there won't be any command center first shenanigans or anything like that. Very typical. And they will bump into each other here. We'll see if they figure out that maybe they are at different sides of the maps. And wow, they started their scouting at basically the same time because they intersected perfectly. That was kind of awesome. So Barney is now throwing down his assimilator. His gateway is on the way, so very typical. Incubus has chosen to finish his wall off a little bit faster than necessary, just so that Barney cannot scout in and see what exactly is going on. He's not chosen to get any gas yet, so we could see a bit of an earlier expand. We will see what happens. Starting his marine production, and looks like he's going to send this SCV forward to do, I'm not sure what. Maybe he wants to throw down a bunker at the front and then expand? That wouldn't be too terribly surprising to me. And yeah, this probe will not be able to get in, and it's going to run on away. This SCV going to scoot on up now. Sees the cyber core, sees the gateway, sees the assimilator with 3 probes. So Barney has not yet started his second assimilator, so we could see some 4-gate pressure. But we'll see where they go with it. And yeah, so Incubus is throwing down a bunker at the front. Just wants to be nice and safe. Going to put Marines in there and potentially throw down his command center very shortly thereafter. Barney does have his warp gate on the way, and he is chrono boosting that, so could be a bit more of an aggressive play from him. But looks like this probe might want to expand. He does have the money for it, so could be he just wants to get that expansion up earlier. This SCV, though, looks like it wants to expand as well. That's pretty fantastic, and that probe does die as it gets flanked by several Marines, and, well, it just didn't stand a chance. So we got the first Stalker on the way. We'll see if Barney wants to move out with that and just poke and prod and harass a little bit. And Incubus does throw down his command center. All very standard and good stuff. He should probably think about getting a refinery pretty soon, as he will want to start teching pretty soon, but we're not too worried about it. Throwing down another bunker, so that way he can stay nice and safe. That scouting SCV does get taken out, but he does see that there's a second gateway, and he does not see that third gateway. So 3 gate after expand, so could see a little bit of aggression out of Barney, but I don't think he'll really be able to accomplish all that much with 2 bunkers up at the front. Incubus is definitely in a very safe position, and he is throwing down 2 more bunkers so we can get more and more SCVs out and bring the pain. So Barney has taken the central watchtower. That Marine definitely isn't going to be able to take it, and he's just going to die a very sad death. And his life meant nothing because all those shields will regenerate in just a moment. How very sad for him. His wife was not too proud of him. Pretty sure she's remarried by now. About 3 seconds later. Not sure why I'm discussing like relationships and stuff in StarCraft, but whatever. So Incubus does finish up those other 2 barracks. 3 barracks without any add-ons, just producing lots and lots of Marines. That'll keep him very safe. And his orbital is coming up now. So he will definitely be able to get his economy going very strong with lots and lots of mules. Barney, on the other hand, is throwing down a robo now. So he's just going to tech on up, and the perfectly timed scan sees the robotics facility and knows that that is what's coming. So Incubus is probably going to throw down Factory. Yep, and he's probably going to move on up to Stargate and start getting Vikings and Medevacs. That way he can deal with the probably inevitable Colossus. So, Barnie just in a defensive posture right now. Has 3 sentries out at the front so he can throw down force fields and keep the enemy from attacking in. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. Incubus is in full defend mode. 2 bunkers filled with Marines. Going to send these Marines out. Might try to take the Watchtower again. They will definitely be able to take it from that Stalker, as 3 Marines is clearly much stronger than 1. And Barnie will definitely want to run that Stalker away. So we do have Tech Labs on the way now for the barracks, so could start seeing some stim and or combat shield. And Barnie does manage to get the Stalker away, but does kill one of the Marines before doing so. So takes a little bit of hull damage, but not for nothing. So the factory is done. He does have stim on the way now, starting to produce some Marines out. And we'll see if he wants to put down a starport soon. Looks like he has an SCV ready to do that, but he doesn't have the gas to yet, because he's been getting quite a few gas heavy things. Infantry level 1, stim packs, and a single Marauder. Oh, that said, Marauders don't really cost that much gas. That isn't a lot. So both players are playing quite passive right now. Barnie does have a single observer out. Going to start scouting across the map. Let's just take a look at the unit count. So Barnie is... Oh, excuse me. He is ahead in probe count. But that said, Incubus does have those mules, so that's about even, I would say. Incubus almost ahead in the economy game, actually, I would say. They're about even, so pretty typical. So we got 16 Marines and a Marauder out. And you are hearing the lovely sound of my wife's cell phone. And I'm not going to pick that up because I need to keep casting, man. Never stop casting. Now, we do have another barracks, going to be another barracks on top of that, and then an NG bay. It looks like you might just have these SCVs queued up to do that. Oh, there's the NG bay, so yeah, definitely going into just a very bio-heavy force, and he's starting to break down these rocks. Speaking English is really hard for me sometimes, apparently. So he's going to break down those rocks, and probably just going to expand there pretty darn soon. Let's take a look at what kinds of tech we have. So Barnie is throwing down 2 forges now, and a Twilight Council. His Robo Bay is done. He's got a single Colossus on the way. We'll probably look at starting that Thermal Lances pretty darn soon. So he is doing pretty well as far as tech goes, but he is behind by a fair bit. On oh wait, I looked at that wrong. Barnie's way ahead in supply. Never mind, Incubus is the one behind, so he could be in a bit of a rough spot, as Barnie is definitely macroing a bit better, and well, that could be the difference there between bronze and gold. So we'll see what happens. He does have that Colossi. Does he have any Vikings on the way yet? No, he does not. He is adding on an armory. Could be that he wants to either to get more infantry upgrades, or he wants to start getting some Vikings and getting some upgrades for them. That would definitely be to his benefit, because there's Colossi. And yeah, sees the Colossi at the scan, instantly starts 2 Vikings. He knows what's up. He knows he's going to need those. And looks like he has a drop ready to go, sending the factory at the front to distract while he drops in some units. So definitely a very nice strategic play. Red sees it though. He runs pretty much immediately. Going to drop a single Marauder and might try to get some tech units. Barnie though coming back with a ton of units. Those outs do not have charge. So with the route they're taking, it's going to take them forever to get there. He's going to get 1 forge at least, and then load on up and try to run away. There are stalkers there, but they do not have blink, so this medevac will probably be able to get away. So nicely played by Incubus, getting some tech, preventing that, I think it was the armor upgrade that was in production there. So that's always a benefit. If you can keep your opponent down on upgrades, you will be ahead. But that said, Barnie has a lot of stuff. He does have +1 done now. Let's take a look at the infantry. So the infantry has +1 as well, but +1 Colossi, does he have range? He does not. Okay, so that could definitely come back to cause Barney some troubles, as without range, those things can be hit by Marauders pretty easily. So we'll see. Looks like he's positioning to do an attack. Incubus has a decent defense here with these bunkers, but those will die really fast to the raw amount of stuff there. So Zealots heading on up first. Those bunkers going down quite quickly. The Zealots are dying. Vikings are working on the Colossi, and they're both going to die for sure, unless the... Oh, that was a terrible misclick by Incubus, moving those Vikings without attacking, and that's very fortunate for Barney as he's able to keep both those Colossi up. And Incubus is in a terrible position here. He's still behind on supply. Not killing those Colossi was just such a huge deal, and he's going to lose this expansion, and I don't know what he can do from here. Barney just going to continue attacking. Incubus lost all those SCVs. So this is a terrible position for him. He does have some Marauders now, so might be able to swing this back in his favor, but I don't know. GG. Don't know how you got that much off 2 base. GG. So a valiant effort by Incubus. Barney just macroing just a bit better than Incubus. He hasn't left the game yet, though. Said to GG, but didn't leave, so, guess he wants to keep on trying. I don't really know why Barney isn't attacking. Oh, was there a drop? Oh, there was a drop. Wow, Barney pulling back his entire army to deal with this drop. So that's going to buy Incubus just a ton of time. That's very fortunate for him. And he's just able to kind of get reestablished, rebuild a bit of an army. Could catch some units out here in the middle of the map. That'd be very fortunate for him. Barney! Oh, Barney loses the Colossi, loses the Stalkers, and Incubus will take those units for free. Very nice for him, and Barney only has the single Colossi now, so that is a huge benefit for Incubus, and he's responding quite nicely by getting just lots and lots of Marauders. And while Colossi do tend to deal with the Marauders pretty decently, when there's only one Colossi and there's this many Marauders, that can be pretty darn rough for the Protoss. And Incubus is taking his third, but there's a Zealot there, so he's going to run away for the time being, sending up a handful of Marauders to deal with that. And he does have 2-2 now, so he is ahead on the upgrade, so very nice by him. Going to land that command center down, start his production going. We'll see if he wants to retake his natural at some point. That still has a lot of resources, so that would benefit him a lot. And Barney just continuing to group up here. Not sure why he's hanging out those rocks there specifically, but whatever. And he is taking his third as well, so Incubus is behind on the bases. We'll see again if he wants to retake his natural. Could be he's just going to wait for this to mine out, then move everything down. This is pretty close to being done, so he may do that. We do have charge on the way, so that will make those Zealots quite a bit more effective, as there's quite a few of them. But that said, Barney has not resumed his upgrades. So, yeah, that could definitely come to haunt him. And he does have Templar. How many Templar does he have? He has 2 Templar, but he's not researching Storm. So right now, all they can really do is feedback and take out Medvacs, which is good, but, you know, with Storm, they'd be a lot more effective. Okay, so he just wants to move him into Archons. Definitely not a bad call. They can soak up so very much damage from those Marauders. As Archons are psionic and massive, they are not actually considered armored. So the Marauders just don't actually deal very much damage to them. And he has so many Zealots. Marauders don't deal with that many Zealots too well either. So Incubus definitely in a bit of a rough spot here. Barney has a significant supply lead. We'll see if he chooses to attack at some point. Looks like he wants to move forward now. Starting to scoot those units on up. And Incubus could really be in for a world of hurt here. He's got a decent Bioforce there, but 30 Zealots? Wow. So yeah, here we go. He's going to charge on in. The Zealot's getting pinned back behind the Stalkers a little bit. Finally getting on through. Some good force fields going down, pinning the entire army in. But Incubus scooting those units back a little bit, and he's chewing through those Zealots very, very quickly. Those Medivacs doing so much work in keeping everything alive. And yeah, this is getting cleaned up pretty well. So Incubus doing a very nice job of cleaning up all of those Zealots and cleaning up the entire force. So wow. Definitely a bit of a blunder by Barney to go into that. I'm not really sure how Incubus did that, because there were so many Zealots. But the force fields ended up actually working against the Zealots. So nicely played by Incubus. Now Barney is warping in a whole bunch of High Templar at home, morphing them into Archons. But we got a drop coming in the back. We'll keep an eye on that, see what happens. Might try to just drop into the main and snipe tech again, as that does appear to be pretty super effective against Barney. Barney's base here has been established, mining a little bit, not a lot. And, okay, looks like he might want to drop here, try to snipe off the base. Oh, that's not the best spot to drop. There's tons of stuff there, man. Zell charging on in. Looks like he's going to pick up and run. Definitely a good move. And there isn't all that much anti-air. There's a handful of Stalkers and some Archons, and the rest is all Zealots. So, dropping is definitely a good idea, as you can generally get away for free at this point. And just now, finally starting to retake his natural. And I guess just keeping that orbital there so he can continue mining the gas. And may eventually move that somewhere else. So he's just staying on bio. He does have 3-3 on the way. And Barney still only on +1 attacks. And you know what? That's actually probably the reason why Incubus won that attack we saw earlier. Because he's on 2-2. And those upgrades can make such a huge difference. So Barney, definitely a big blunder from him not continuing to get the upgrades. Looks like he did lose both forges at some point. So that could be why he's not. But still, it's not a... You know, 300 minerals to get 2 forges down and stay up on upgrades. You know, that's a very worthwhile investment. So definitely a mistake by him to not get those again. So we got another drop coming in here. The army's positioned decently to respond to it before too terribly long, but if he manages to drop and Barney doesn't respond quick enough, this Nexus may die. Because Stim 2-2 Marines and Marauders are pretty darn awesome. Has he noticed? Has he noticed? Oh, he's moving up into the main. Oh, he thinks there's a 2-prong drop coming? This might not be enough to deal with this. Well, here we go. So Incubus attacking, killing probes, killing Archons. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a bit too much for him because Archons are so very powerful against Bio. So not the best drop in the world. Did kill some probes. I'll take it the workers killed. Wow, that's kind of insane. Red killed 25 SCVs at some point. Likely when Incubus lost that main there. That makes sense. But Incubus has killed a ton more probes. So he's playing pretty darn well. This base is saturated, so it's just like rally back here. SCV finishes and has to do the longest journey ever to get to where he's going to work for the rest of his life. And it looks like we do have another drop coming, so Incubus doing a very nice job just keeping the aggression on, keeping Barney back in his base, and 3-3 is going to finish up very soon. That's going to turn his Bioforce into just a real nightmare to deal with for Barney. And Barney has not chosen to get any more Colossi, and he's just going very Archon heavy. So I don't know how well this will work out for him if we see a really large engagement. Archons tend to work well in small and medium-sized army groups, but once you get up to the 200 stage, their effectiveness really drops off because they only have 3 range, excuse me. So it can be really difficult for them to be effective in very large engagements. So we'll see Incubus scooting on in once again, going to drop at the edge here. He's got another medevac positioned up here to do a drop once this army moves out of position, so that could work out for him. Here we go, he's ready to go. Yeah, Marine stimming on forward. Going to kill a decent number of probes. This army's reacting in time, though. But where's the other drop? Other drop is here, killing even more probes. His army reacting to that, and he's just having to split up his units. Is that medevac going to die? Oh! So that was a nice win for Barney. Picks off a full medevac. But once again, he is just on the defensive, on the back foot, is not getting upgrades. Just now getting his 2 attack upgrades. Where is that forge? There it is. So he will start equalizing very, very, very slowly. But even so, Incubus has 3 armor and 3 attacks right now. So he has a significant lead in that regard. And he's starting to get a pretty beefy Bioforce going on here. He's got concussive cells, he's got stims, he's got combat shields. You know, that's about as upgraded as possible. Sending out some Marines across the map. Very nice, just to check for hidden expansions and the like. Definitely a intelligent move by him. And just now taking his 4th. So these geysers are almost mined out. Still keeping that orbital there. Would be nice to see him lift it off and move it somewhere else at some point, but has not yet chosen to do that. And it's just going to leave the Marines just kind of around just to keep an eye on potential expands. And wow, having the perfect game sense. That probe's going to come out and rat-tat-tat. Boom. So Incubus does know about that expand. And Barney cancels it for 1 Marine. You see how powerful 3-3 is, kids? That Marine is basically a hero. This is Kratos before he became a god and God of War. But here we go. So many charge lots. Incubus needs to get the stim off as quickly as possible to deal with that. Selecting his units. Going to try to kite back a little bit. Hasn't yet stimmed. But as you can see, these Archons are having a very difficult time engaging. Just now getting the stim. These Zealots are melting before they can really accomplish a lot. Archons finally getting into the mix to deal damage. Incubus doing some very nice stutter step micro back. And all these Archons are dying. Very nice by Incubus. Those upgrades really showing their power. Very nicely played by him. He did lose all of his medevac, so this army is fairly weakened and could die to a counterattack. But that said, Barnie is really low on units now. Just has 5 Zealots and an Archon. And I think this might be curtains for him. So here we go. Incubus pushing up the front, killing Zealots. And yeah, there's nothing Barnie can do at this point. He doesn't have the upgrades. He doesn't have the units. Barnie calls down the GG. Incubus GG with a double exclamation mark. Super excited to have won. And I do think he kind of had that game handed to him because Barnie pulled back when he could have killed Incubus. Barnie not too happy to have lost to Incubus, but Incubus saying best of 3. Oh wow, I think those were all Archons. That's pretty brutal. So, but yeah, Incubus doing just a very nice job, just staying ahead on those upgrades, and that's really what won him the game there. If he hadn't been that far ahead on upgrades, Barney's army would have been significantly more effective. So before people go into the comments saying Terran OP, yeah, it was upgrades. Barney recognizes that fact and leaves the game. So nicely played by Incubus. He's going to take a little bit of a victory cheer, kill some units, buildings, and then leave the game. So thank you guys for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to try again to get into Diablo 3 because I would like to play that and let's play it for you. But yeah, so please do like and subscribe and comment, and I will see you guys later.